So here we go with another weekend of football on 5 Live. Chelsea get the game underway, and immediately the ball is played back to John Terry, who finds Cahill to his right, and Cahill now sends it forward and right footed, and chested down by Oscar, who's driving on into the full-back position. Oscar still going, crosses, took a little deflection, and it was cleared away, and Boyd can't keep it in play even though he volleyed it after it had gone over the touchline, and it's out of play for a throw into Chelsea. Someone throws the ball back onto the pitch and very nearly clatters Steve Bruce on the back of the head with it, and it bounces onto the field and is returned to Azpilicueta to take the throw almost level with the edge of the Hull City penalty area. So Azpilicueta takes it to Willian, who is challenged by Figueroa, but as Figueroa came across, Willian looked to hook it back over and just volleyed it behind for a goal kick and seemed to just catch his finger there. Willian, as he's running back, seems to just be wringing his hands together. Anyway, goal kick to Chelsea.
That was a good start there from Torres, just watching Torres' movement coming over onto the shoulder of Curtis Davies. A really good flicking. The most impressive thing was Oscar running in behind, anticipating he was going to win the flick. You know, sometimes when you're playing against strong central defenders, it's difficult to actually read that he's going to win it, so that might be a telling sign that when I've seen Chelsea this season, I've been impressed that they have gone direct at times into whether it's been Etu or to Torres or even Demba Ba at times.
When Alistair spoke to Steve Bruce just before kick-off, just a reminder that Hull City were in the Championship this time last season. That thrilling final day of the league season when they were promoted. But now here they are against Chelsea with another crowd near capacity inside the stadium. With Hull having to defend, Torres tries to nutmeg Curtis Davies, bounces off the defender's left leg, who just managed to pull his feet together in time, and it deflects behind for a corner to Chelsea from the right.
Positive though again from Torres, John. You know, turning initially looking to run straight at Curtis Davies. I think that he really fancies, looks on his game as well, Fernando Torres.
Chelsea, who've won their last 4 matches in all competitions. Willian with the outswinging corner, bounces down, hits the defender, took a little flick, I think, initially off Ramirez, and so it cleared the penalty area. Comes back to Chelsea, who are playing from left to right in this first half, and then Oscar rather carelessly gives it away, and it's played forward by Huddleston, who now is completely short. Al Mohammadi trying to make ground up the right-hand side against Ashley Cole, and it bounces out of play. Ashley Cole's contesting that, but the throw-in's been given Hull City's way, and there they are, those supporters in the sunshine on the far side, twirling their scarves to celebrate the fact that Ashley Cole didn't get the throw-in that he wanted. But Hull have it. Al Mohammadi crosses into Cole. That's definitely a Hull City throw-in. It clearly came off and out of play for a throw up the right-hand side. Those supporters over there are all shielding their eyes from this winter sun. Throw-in taken to Huddleston. Al Mohammadi, though, gives it away. He tried to thread it in field, and now Chelsea are away on the break, but they run into Mark Clattenburg, the referee. And you know, that was a promising counter-attack, and Mark Clattenburg got in the way of it. So therefore Hull City have got it back, and it's dragged out towards the left-hand side to Figueroa. Figueroa forward towards Boyd, and then Boyd can't make any further ground, and Chelsea have got it back inside their own half. Willian looks up, long ball over the top, which skips away from Hazard and through to McGregor.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to watch those three things. Willian looking to pick out Hazard. You see the interchange of position all the time, constantly. There's no real number 10 in the Chelsea team that plays in that central position. Oscar, Hazard, Willian both occupy, or all occupy that position at various times through the game.
Ball flicked on by Stagpole. Boyd chasing it into the penalty area, but the ball bounces on into the arms of Petr Cech. So Kevin Kilbane is here with us on 5 Live, Barclays Premier League. Kevin, who played 100 times for the Republic of Ireland and played here for a spell for Hull City. And it is Hull who pass it out to Figueroa on the halfway line. Mourinho just sending out a few instructions on the edge of the coaching area. It's the first time that he has brought a team here. Jose Mourinho, and ball out of play for a throw into Chelsea, which is applauded by Mourinho. The last couple of times that Hull City have been here, that Chelsea have been here in Hull City's previous incarnations in the Premier League, Ancelotti was the manager the last time, and I remember when Scolari brought Chelsea here, Phil Scolari, and they won 3-0. I remember interviewing Scolari down in the bowels of the stadium after that match, and all was hunky-dory for Chelsea at the time.
I actually played in the game for Hull against Chelsea. We drew 1-1 at Stamford Bridge, and Scolari was sacked after that game, so I remember that clearly, yeah.
Yes. But I was reminded before this game, as Luiz now carries it forward. Oh, that's a classic piece of Luiz vision as he tries to pass it over the top. He just got it slightly wrong, aiming for Hazard down the left-hand side, and it bounces through for a goal kick. Yeah, I was reminded that game, the Scolari match here, Hull City were third, and Chelsea were second before that game, relatively early on in the season. Goal kick for Hull City for McGregor, who saved the penalty at Stamford Bridge in the first game of the season when Chelsea won 2-0. Forward it goes to Boyd now, black hair flying. Boyd crosses into Azpilicueta and it bounces down. And the little Spaniard races to the touchline, volleys it out of play, and helps out the officials by indicating with his hands that it didn't go behind for a corner. It's a throw-in, and the assistant has agreed with it. So it's a throw-in close to the corner flag. Figueroa is going to take it. Hull City 0, Chelsea 0. Figueroa takes the throw to Huddleston, who returns it to Figueroa, who's going to do well to keep it in. Does so, it bounces against the corner flag, and Willian scampered over to take possession for Chelsea. But they have contrived to lose it, Chelsea, in their own defensive third. Huddleston has 3 Chelsea players around him, and in nips Willian to take it away from Huddleston and play it forward. Torres' header, it bounces for Hull City. El Mohammadi shooting from 25 yards, straight at the check, who seemed to go down a little race there, struggling with his fingertips as Boyd came to close him down with Gallagher.
It was excellent handling he was. He bounced right in front of him. I don't think El Mohammadi caught him there as well as he would have liked, but he certainly did right at the last moment. He did seem to be on his knees early, didn't he, Peter checked there before he picked it up, but he did well.
Hull City 0, Chelsea 0. And ball is headed away straight to Oscar. Oscar to Willian. Now Oscar again. Oscar crossing, but to the back of Huddleston, and then Oscar slips over. Great amusement from the whole supporters that Oscar ended up on the seat of his pants. And so Hull City clear it downfield through Huddleston, but that's way beyond anyone in a black and amber shirt, and Chelsea have got it back. It's incredible, isn't it, how a haircut can make someone look so different.
He looks about 2 stone lighter as well, doesn't he?
Yeah. I think it was, trying to think who it was on Match of the Day, their previous game, said that Huddleston had not yet had his hair cut for the Liverpool game because his father had not arrived from London.
I was just talking to Alistair before about that as well. Apparently it took 3 hours to get the haircut as well. I said to him, if I spent more than 20 minutes in a barber's, I'm disgusted. So 3 hours in a chair, no, it's not my style, that.
Yeah. Who'd have thought it? Well, I'm saying nothing. Here comes Hull. El Mohammadi crosses from the right, but it's straight onto the head of Cahill, who follows up and heads it strongly away on the edge of the penalty area. And now Huddleston, they wanted to shoot the home supporters. Livermore takes it on after Huddleston got so far but no further. Sagbo's going to shoot from the edge of the deep, straight into the legs of Cahill. The ball ricochets all the way towards the halfway line. And now James Chester, who had that extraordinary day last time I was here on Boxing Day, the game against Manchester United, his former club, and scoring at both ends in Manchester United's 3-2 win. That was when Manchester United were in the middle of a winning run. Things very different now. They kick off at tea time today, incidentally, the Old Trafford game against Swansea City. You'll hear about that during the course of Sports Report, and into 6:06 as well, so you can comment to Robbie and Darren as that game goes on. Here is Torres with the ball in the centre circle for Chelsea. Just spins away and moves into space, then gives it towards the left-hand side. Hazard is there. Hazard now taking on Chester, moving infield, but Livermore stretches out a leg on the edge of the area and stops him getting any further. David Luiz again, his frizzy hair flying all over the place. Luiz gets it back. Luiz to Willian, but that has with some pace, and it bounced off the left instep of his fellow Brazilian, but he keeps possession. Hull City with everyone apart from Sagbo behind the ball. Here is Hazard again, Chelsea's top scorer this season. Hazard still carrying the ball. He's into the middle of the half now, into the strip of sunshine that runs almost all the way down the middle of the pitch. Then back to Ramirez, tries to pick out the pass towards Hazard, who's come out towards the right-hand side, but it bounces down and hooked away by Boyd. Quite cutely, George Boyd. Second Myler, now into the centre circle, where touched up Livermore. This is gaining great approval, this little move here from the Hull City supporters, knocking it around nicely and confidently, as they have done all season at the KC Stadium. And now Al Mohammadi making ground down the right. Al Mohammadi's cross is carried behind. Just wondering whether he took a flick off Ashley Cole, but no, says the assistant goal kick over.
Yeah, I think Al Mohammadi looking for the corner there. I think he might have nicked off Ashley Cole's boots. He's gone through, but certainly good play from Hull initially when they were thwarted the attack.
Ball played over the top by Ramirez for Torres, who moves away from Bruce. Torres now shoots from an angle, took a deflection into the side netting. And Alex Bruce was appealing to all and sundry there. I think the suggestion was Torres in an offside position when it was played through. I don't think he was.
No, I don't think. I think it was really good movement from Torres. He went short, and he sold Alex Bruce, spun off the shoulder. Excellent play from him. I think he was onside, but Torres has been especially pleasing on the start of this game.
Yes, he has. Corner from the left for Chelsea. Still 0-0. William plays it in, straight to McGregor. The Hull City goalkeeper punches it away under no particular pressure. Now Oscar lifts it high and right out towards the far side to William. Pinpoint it was. William controls it. Now shoots from an angle, blocked by Bruce. Bruce's clearance takes it out for a throw-in on the left.
Yeah, excellent ball from Oscar there out to William, who'd taken the corner, coming back inside, but they're certainly looking to impose themselves now, Chelsea. They look much more of a threat when they're on the break, and certainly on the counter-attack. When Hull get bodies forward, they can break very quickly.
So it remains 0-0. Chelsea have really tightened up in this run as well that they're on at the moment. They've conceded only 1 goal in their last 5 matches. That is more like the Chelsea that we associate with Mourinho's first spell at the club. Indeed, if Petacek doesn't concede again today, he will break the Chelsea record for clean sheets by a goalkeeper, Peter Benetti's record. And it would be his 208th clean sheet in all competitions for Chelsea. As Chelsea have the ball at the back inside their own half. I still feel, usually when I say this, it causes a raised eyebrow. Still feel Cech is right up there in terms of the most reliable goalkeepers in the Premier League.
The thing that I like about Peter Cech is he makes everything look easy. When he makes his save, I see a lot of keepers now when they make the saves, obviously throwing themselves around, but they seem to be having that flip of actually flicking the hand and trying to flick it over the crossbar. Peter Cech has solid hands and he pushes things away, and he's a solid keeper. And for me, still, there's no one better in the Premier League than him because he's so consistent.
Yeah, everyone seems to be anxious to sort of select the newer goalkeepers in the Premier League.
But yeah, totally agree.
Cech makes mistakes, but all goalkeepers make mistakes. Hazard has just been caught there by Huddleston. Just played it away. Huddleston just coming in, caught Hazard, and the referee Plattenberg has stopped play. And now various Chelsea players are running across Cahill and Terry to referee Plattenberg, and they've got a lot to say for themselves. Huddleston just came in and caught, well, his arm was up there, wasn't it? His arm was up as he came in, and his elbow has caught the collarbone of Hazard.
Yeah, I think he stood right on the Hazard's toe as well. I think Huddleston stood, so I think he felt it from both angles there. Was that a bad challenge? Well, I mean, it was late, wasn't it? It certainly was late. Hazard had made the pass, and Huddleston coming in late, he caught him with his studs high, and he caught him with the elbow as well. So it could have been a booking. You've got to say that so early in the game. Clattenburg maybe thinking, look, let things play and not dish out the yellow card so early. But I don't like to say that when you hear so often. You have seen them given, but they certainly look like a yellow card to me.
Well, Hazard thankfully is okay, being able to walk off the pitch on the far side. Still Hull City 0, Chelsea 0, and I presume play will have to resume with a throw-in. It does. Hull take it and then give it back to Chelsea. So Hull City 0, Chelsea 0. In the early kick-off in the Championship, the 12:15 start, it is still Sheffield Wednesday 1, Leeds United 0. Reader Johnson, the goal scorer for Sheffield Wednesday. We'll be there, won't we? Hillsborough on Tuesday night, you and I, for the FA Cup replay against Macclesfield. Indeed, this is one of those little sequences that we have on 5 Live, where this is the first of 5 consecutive days of football commentaries on 5 Live across the Premier League and the FA Cup. Cardiff against West Ham. It's very interesting base for the 3 o'clock commentary. It is no longer just 1-0 at Sheffield Wednesday. Steve May.
It's now Sheffield Wednesday 2, Leeds United 0. The first goal of the season for Adi Muliu, sliding at the far post. Leeds completely sterile in this half, and they trail by 2 goals to 0 here at Sheffield Wednesday.
Thanks, Steve. Yes, I was going to ask you, Kevin, how you pronounce his name.
Yeah, it was just a game last weekend. Muliu actually played quite well last week at Macclesfield. He was one of the most impressive players for Sheffield Wednesday, so it's certainly a striker now looking to continue that form.
Yeah, well, I was with Chris Waddle the other day, and he was telling me that the Sheffield Wednesday fans refer to him as Frankenstein. That's what they do. Chris, who incidentally was at that Macclesfield game in the crowd. He was on the terrace with the Sheffield Wednesday supporters behind the goal.
There was an excellent turnout from Sheffield Wednesday fans. It was a good atmosphere. Sheffield Wednesday fans on the day were brilliant.
I think he regretted it when he spent most of the game doing autographs. He said one Sheffield Wednesday fan even asked for his comfort of Bovril.
I think I'd have been chasing him for his autograph as well.
Right, Hull City 0, Chelsea 0. Relatively little in terms of goal scoring opportunities so far in the game. Just the El Mohammadi shot from outside of the area that was straight at Petacek. Chelsea with David Luiz, who's put under pressure by Myler, and Luiz passes it straight out of play, trying to find Azpilicueta, and the two of them exchange words from 10 or 12 yards away with much waving of arms. Throw in, Figueroa takes it, Cahill comes across to head it away. And now again, Myler for Hull, all over the top. Sagbo won't reach that though, and it bounces through for a goal kick. Kevin Kilbert.
Yeah, Hull certainly have that in the central areas with Jake Livermore and David Myler. Both really strong runners, got legs they can get around the pitch, and in behind them Huddleston, who can get around the pitch himself but certainly likes to sit more. Those two, the onus is on Myler and Livermore to really go and close certainly David Luiz and Ramirez down.
Hull City 0, Chelsea 0. The ball at the feet of Petacek, with the Chelsea travelling contingent behind that goal. There must be a good 2,000 of them in there, I would say. And Cech clearing it high down the middle, but over the top of Torres. It bounces through to McGregor at the other end. McGregor just bounces the ball a couple of times. Davis makes himself available, but McGregor will kick from his hands from a half volley. I'm not sure who that was to. Straight down the throat of John Terry, who was unchallenged. So Chelsea bring it forward with Ramirez, and Terry has actually carried on with his run from inside his own half. Gives it to the left-hand side to Hazard. 1 or 2 poos for Hazard for going down into that challenge from Huddleston, which is totally uncalled for. Louis, now to Azpilicueta here on the right-hand side. Clearly the Hull City supporters thinking he made too much of it, which is not the case. Azpilicueta now down the right, the point is there. He's covered a lot of ground already in the game to slide it through and put it out of play for a throw. To Chelsea, 10 yards back from the corner flag. Television camera appears from somewhere under his armpit. Azpilicueta takes the throw in towards Torres. It's kept in play by Bruce. Torres battling for it with Figueroa, and then it's cleared away by Myler. Sagbo. Oh, just really well Sagbo to give it to Myler, who then turns it first time out to the right-hand side. El Mohammadi now moving up against Ashley Cole, who's backpedaling. El Mohammadi shows it to him, and then overplays it. Heavy touch from El Mohammadi, took it out of play for a throw to Chelsea.
Yeah, he was just a bit heavy. He's trying the old Stanley Matthews one. That's what he likes to do. Knock it one way, run round the other way. El Mohammadi, he's certainly got that in the bag, and he's done that a good few times. You see them. Ashley Cole certainly has the pace to match him, but excellent play certainly by Sagbo initially into to David Myler, and then a good flick out wide. But that's what Hull have got to do. They've got to try and get forward quickly in numbers to try and put Chelsea under pressure, because it has been quite easy for Chelsea up to now.
Almost 20 minutes played. This is BBC 5 Live. We're here at the KC Stadium for our first Premier League commentary of the day, and it is Hull City 0, Chelsea 0. And it is half-time at Old Trafford with Sheffield Wednesday 2-0 up on Leeds. Rita Johnson with the 2 goals. Here's Bruce, who clears from the edge of his penalty area. Cahill gets his head with, nods it down, but only back to Hull City. Mentioned Chelsea's recent run of being tight defensively, and add to that the fact that Hull City have got the joint best defensive record at home in the Premier League this season. You wonder how many goals we might see here today. But Davis just returning the ball back to McGregor, who side-foots it downfield. Myler tries to get a touch on it. Louise headed it forward. Oscar now plays ahead Ramirez, but Bruce is there. Straight it out towards the right-hand side, and here we are again. Al Mohammadi against Ashley Cole. That's been one of the confrontations of the game so far. Oh, given away by Ramirez to Al Mohammadi. Cole trying to get back. Myler now with a cross, but stuffed it, and David Louise was able to arrive inside the box and play it away left-footed. Well, I've got it back though. Myler, here's Livermore again. Livermore, Al Mohammadi wants it, he's got it. Al Mohammadi's early ball in, under the head of Terry, who heads it away. And then Myler can't keep it. Goal Louise is dispossessed by Huddleston. Good work from Tom Huddleston there. And then the ball rattles around to the edge of the area where Cahill volleys it downfield. A hoof, according to the Hull City fans. And now Chelsea bring it forward into the Hull half. Hazard does really well. Drifts round his man. Drifts past Chester. Gives it to Oscar on the edge of the area. And then in arrives Myler with an excellent challenge to take it away from him.
Oh, it was a great challenge, but Hazard was looking for the 1-2 with Oscar. He got in behind Alex Bruce for the 1-2 and once he skipped past James Chester on the right-hand side, excellent play from him just to drive into the box.
Still 0-0. Just over 20 minutes played, almost halfway through the first half. And they've just been jousting with one another thus far in the game. Chelsea probably marginally on top, but not a great deal.
No, I think Hull is defending well, certainly closing down well, but they're offering very little on the counters at the moment.
Ball downfield by Figueroa to the tall, shaven-headed Sagbo, the Ivory Coast international striker, to chase, which he does, and he has it in the full-back area, plays it infield towards Livermore, who's going to shoot from distance, and Check goes down to his left. Just gets his hands to it and deflects it away behind for a corner.
Yeah, just no saying they've offered very little. Sagbo did really well initially by holding the ball up. He took 3, 4, 5 touches, and that allowed the Hull players that were very deep in their own half to get forward in support. And once it fell to Livermore, he struck it really well. But again, good solid hands from Peter Check to push it behind.
Livermore on loan for the season from Tottenham, playing against Chelsea today. Corner from the right end for Hull City, and here's the delivery from Huddleston towards the back post, and Bruce with a header, but with a couple of Chelsea players around him could only get under it and head it high over the top.
That was a chance, John. It was a free header. He's coming behind a lot of bodies. Ramirez lost him totally. I think he should have found the target there. I think he's saying he got under the ball, but
just mistimed it.
Yeah, I think he did mistime it. Once the ball's come through the bodies, I think he might have seen it late, but certainly should have found the target there. Didn't have to jump as well for it. It wasn't really as if he was stretching for it in any way.
So Hull City have had the clearer chances, most certainly in the game so far, as Boyd just collides with Aspilicueta, but he's going to be okay. What about Chelsea's title credentials, Kevin, as we speak now?
Yeah, you said before they haven't been at the top of the game, and yet if they win today they can go top of the league. And I think they are coming into form right now. Defensively they're looking a lot better in recent weeks, but those three that we keep mentioning there in Oscar, Hazard and Willian, especially in the last couple of weeks with Willian, really, really telling their top of the key.
Sagbo is judged to be offside, but also just lifted the ball over the top, so a free kick to Chelsea.
I was interested this week, John, as well, just saying with Mourinho saying he may be prepared to wait until the summer for a striker. He might not go into the window now, and I think it'd be difficult to bring in a top quality striker at this stage. There is a lot of talk really with Wayne Rooney as well, whether or not he could be the one that Mourinho could decide to go for next summer.
Yes, although with Mourinho at this time as well, at any time of year, just be careful with the old red herring.
Yeah, I totally agree with that as well.
Not averse to throwing a few of those in from time to time.
Just look at the strikers worldwide and try to prize them away from the club, John. That's got to be a difficulty, isn't it?
Well, I think the same applies, doesn't it, to... We talk about Arsenal signing a striker, talk about Manchester United making signings, the same applies really. One matter on the substitutes bench again today, Schürrle as well. The talk seems to be that Kevin De Bruyne will be going off to Germany, back to Germany in this transfer window, which we seem to be talking about maybe 14-15 million pounds that they would get for him.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter as well. Big talk of Rafa Benitez at Napoli looking to take him back over there as well, whether or not that can be done, and that could then free up something for Mourinho to do elsewhere.
Check just coming out of his area there, hence the cheers, because he sliced it into the stand on the far side. Of course, the key thing is for players like De Bruyne, for Mata, to play in order to put themselves in a position whereby they will be selected for World Cup squads. 0-0, Hull City 0, Chelsea 0. Throw-in is taken, but has come to nothing. And it has degenerated just a little, shall we say. Terry. Oh, Terry! Throw all the way! Sagbo with a chance! Oh, he's shot wide! From the right side of the penalty area, it bounced up. And it wouldn't come down quickly enough for him, and as a result, snatched at the shot. Clear chance from the right side of the area, and he miscued it across goal and wide by 5 yards.
Yeah, John Terry looking to be a little bit clever at the back, looking to pick out David Luiz, centrally, well closed down by Boyd, I think it was. But once it's fallen to Sagbo, I think, you know, he's got it at the target, John. That's it. It's a clear chance for Hull, and if they're going to get anything out of this game, they're the chances they're going to have to take. Poor finish.
Yeah. Sagbo, who has not scored in his last 9 appearances. The only couple of goals that he's scored for Hull City this season have been away from home, so he's yet to score as a striker in his new home stadium. Remember, he was signed from France, from the Evian club during the summer. I'm afraid that was a real opportunity to put Chelsea behind.
He has done well, Sagbo, this season, certainly from the team playing point of view. But you mentioned as a striker, as he's playing that lone striker, he needs to be scoring more goals, and that's been Hull's problem throughout the season, whoever he's played in that position. But that was a gilt-edged chance, and he should have scored.
Well, I think you can certainly argue now that Hull City Steve Bruce down there will feel that his side should be ahead against Chelsea in this match. Hull City 0, Chelsea 0. And in terms of Chelsea's credentials, it's a big month ahead. This Jose Mourinho will know it's a tricky fixture because of Hull City's home record as Hazard just loses the ball on the far side and concedes a throw-in, which is taken by El Mohammadi. Chelsea's next game is against Manchester United, which is next weekend, the Sunday 4 o'clock kick-off. It's a 5 live commentary match as well, that Chelsea against Manchester United, so join us on 5 live for that one. And then just around the corner, they've also got the game away against Manchester City at the start of next month, so big games for the next month for Chelsea. And Hull City 0, Chelsea 0. Here is Ashley Cole, who just plays it over the halfway line to Hazard, but it's extremely contested there. There must be 8-9 players within 5 or 6 yards of the ball, and it bounces out of play for a throw-in to Hull City. Home supporters being urging their team on, and throw-in taken, but Luiz nips it. Torres gives it back to him. I think Torres was caught late there and has stayed down. Luiz carries on. His pass deflected to the edge of the area, and Figueroa comes across to clear it. Torres is okay. He's back on his feet. Ramirez very nearly caught by Myler there on the halfway line. Ramirez did him a favour by just withdrawing his leg before contact was made. Now Luiz, back to Ashley Cole. This is in the central third. Then out to the left-hand side it goes to Hazard. Hazard taking on El Mohammadi, who swings his foot round and takes the ball away out of play for a throw-in, level with the edge of the penalty area. Almost half an hour played. Still 0-0. Hull City have had the better chances to open the scorer. Willian, and now Hazard, and then Ashley Cole. Cole just stabs it diagonally forward towards Hazard, who's being closely watched by Chester. So Chelsea have to go all the way back into their own half. Here is Hazard, who is dispossessed by Davis, and now Sagbo comes forward again. Takes Luiz out of the game with a little pass in field, but then Myler loses possession. Oscar won it back there. Hazard is quickly back into the action. Hazard taking it away from Livermore, but Livermore persistent. So Azpilicueta has to go back into his own half to John Terry.
Yes, excellent work from Hull, certainly in the central areas. You mentioned that before, that would be a key battle, but they're really closing the Chelsea players down well.
Ball played through to Hazard, who tries to back heel it to the run of Ramirez through the middle, but it was just deflected on the edge of the penalty area, cut out. And so Hull City are able to play it away and win a throw in near the halfway line. So it remains 0-0. And Alistair Yeomans, who's here with us, has just pointed out to me, we were both at the game at St James's Park, and there are definitely one or two signs of the same sort of performance from Chelsea as we saw it in James Park, and I don't know whether you saw that match, Kev.
I saw bits of it, I did, yeah. I mean, I think you look at the positives that Hull can take out this game is that Chelsea haven't been great on the road at times this season. You know, they have lost a number of games, I think 3 in the Premier League, 5 in all, so I think there is positives that when Chelsea go away from home, they're certainly not at the best like they are at Stamford Bridge.
Yes. In that game at St James's Park, I remember us saying afterwards that there was a feeling of Chelsea that day that sort of you thought that they thought, well, we'll do enough, we'll win this game. And Azpilicueta is just caught by Boyd there and took him down, and referee Clattenburg is quickly across and just with his hand just indicates to Boyd, you're going to have to cut that out. He slid in and caught Azpilicueta late. It's a free kick.
Yeah, I don't think there was too much contact. I think it was a foul and that was it. George Boyd seemed to catch him actually with his knee, but you know, again, it's an opportunity for Chelsea with Willian, how dangerous he can be from these set plays.
So free kick on the right. Chelsea prevent any dangers is how they are at set pieces. Cahill and Terry are up. Williams swings it in. McGregor comes and didn't make it. Just clattered into the onrushing players. And the ball, I'm not sure, got a touch from anyone, and it's straight through for a goal kick.
Yeah, no, he's come out, he's just tried to clear it with a punch. He's come through body, he actually come off the back of John Terry, didn't he, at the end of it, and didn't really know too much about it. Gary Cahill, sorry, it was, but I think it was poor goalkeeper from Alan McGregor. He's come through bodies, and he actually didn't have anyone interfering with him. He could have got a clear punch at it. Once you do come out in and around the penalty spot, you've got to be really dealing with it.
I'm just hearing that Charlton against Barnsley is postponed this afternoon. So Charlton against Barnsley is postponed. The Barnsley supporters will have, I mean, the majority of them surely will nearly be there now. So a long journey for nothing. I'm sure they might be able to find themselves another game to go to in London. Here's Torres down into the full-back position. There's across from Davis to put it out of play. I find it why that is that game's been called off today. Because I thought the weather was okay. They just failed the pitch inspection. That game was off the other day, wasn't it? Yeah, in midweek.
They've had a lot, haven't they, Chelsea? They've had a couple of games this season. I remember that game early on this season against Doncaster that was postponed after I think it was about an hour when Doncaster were winning 3-0. That's right, weren't they?
Yeah. So Charlton against Barnsley, match postponed. It is 0-0, Hull City, Chelsea. 32 minutes played. And Chelsea in possession. Cole. Challenged by El Mohammadi just after he played it back, went down, no free kick. Chelsea still coming. Ball lifted over the top by Cole to Hazard. Hazard now puts it across. Oscar controls the horn. What a save by McGregor. What a save. He was 10 yards out, Oscar. The goal at his mercy. And McGregor somehow reacted and forced it over the top of the bar.
Oh,
he hit it with some pace as well, Kevin.
Yeah, what a save it was, John. Really good hands. It was solid, strong hands from Alan McGregor. Excellent play from Ashley Cole out wide with a lovely scoop pass into Hazard. But once it came back to Oscar, he struck it well. He did. He struck it with so much power. It was a brilliant save.
It really was. Willian now crosses after the corner was taken short, and it's headed away at the back post. That was a brilliant save.
I think it was just instinctive. He literally just dived trying to read where Oscar was going to put it, and Oscar struck it well enough, but to get his hands behind it and push it over the crossbar, outstanding goalkeeping.
He didn't have to adjust much. He was going down to his right.
He just took a gamble. He gambled on where he was going to put it, and once the strike had come in, he did go straight at him, I've got to say that, but you know, to get his hand the way that he did and then push it over the ball, strong, solid hand, it was excellent goalkeeping.
To say, Oscar, 10 yards out, controlled it, sort of knocked it up to himself, so he was able to volley it sweetly. But McGregor just made a little adjustment there with the ball travelling at some pace and deflected it up and over the top of the bar.
It was a great move though from Chelsea though. I mentioned the pass there from Ashley Cole, scooping it over the back line, Hull's back line into Hazard. Hazard did really well to pick out Oscar, and Oscar couldn't have done much more really because there was bodies around him.
So it remains 0-0 on BBC 5 Live as Oscar just overruns the ball out of play for a goal kick on the left hand side. But that was the best chance of the game so
certainly
far.
We mentioned the Sagball's chance early on, great chance for Hull, but from Chelsea's point of view, that's their best chance, and certainly I think the best chance of the match.
So Hull City 0, Chelsea 0. We've got commentary on Cardiff City against West Ham to come from 3 o'clock, plus all of the goals and news from around the country. And I should tell you as well, At half-time in this game, we're going to be hearing from the West Ham assistant manager Neil MacDonald, and also a rare chance to hear from the Cardiff City chairman Mehmet Galman. They'll both be talking to us here on 5 Live during the half-time break in this early kick-off. But that's a really interesting game. And there are one or two of them around as well. Fulham against Sunderland, I think, is an interesting one this afternoon as well. But Hull City level at 0-0 with Chelsea, and Figueroa being put under fire. I think he was fouled there by David Luiz, and fouled again. Fouled twice, gets the second one. Free kick near the halfway line.
Yeah, he was getting a bit, actually lost there, Figueroa. He had his back to goal and just trying to put his foot through it, but he just couldn't get it out of his feet in time, and good pressure from Luiz and Willian, but once he got that close to it, he gave the foul away.
Yeah, Luiz in the end came in like a bullet again, really.
Yeah.
Ball played forward and point in an offside position.
He didn't actually need to though, Luiz, because he was under pressure from Willian initially at Figueroa, and Luiz came across and he bullet again. He just literally steamed into him and brought the foul, but he didn't need to, because I think Chelsea had bodies going forward if he didn't nick it off him.
Are you a fan of David Luiz as a midfielder, Kevin?
I think when he plays centre-half, I think he loses runners. You see him from set plays, he certainly loses runners as well. And he looks uncomfortable and ungainly when he plays centre-half at times. But from a technical point of view, he's an outstanding footballer, isn't he? And you have him in your team to build play up and get play going. But I'm not too sure. I'm still not so sure about him, John. It's one of those players where I see him time and time again, and he impresses me at times, but he makes mistakes. And when you want a centre-half, you want a reliable centre-half that rarely makes mistakes. They're going to make mistakes at times, but you want the mistakes to be very few.
Still 0-0 here at the KC Stadium on 5 Live, but we'll go back to Hillsborough and Steve May.
Yeah, hi John. It's still Sheffield Wednesday 2, Leeds United 0. A bit of a controversy on the pitch at the moment because Matt Smith, the Leeds substitute, who's been on the field for literally 20 seconds, has been sent off. He's involved in an off-the-ball incident with a Wednesday player over on the far side. Cries from the Wednesday fans over there to get him sent off. And referee Lee Probert went over there. He spent about 2 minutes discussing things with his assistant referee and then sent Matt Smith off. I think Smith's only been on literally 20 seconds from the start of the second half. So Leeds United now down to 10 men and they still trail 2-0.
Having a sticky spell at the moment, Leeds United, aren't they, after going out of the FA Cup at Rochdale last weekend as well. Free kick for Hull City, played forward to the edge of the area. Luiz is there, David Luiz. And then it's rather weakly given away by Azpilicueta. Now Livermore to Sagball back to Al-Mohammadi. Al-Mohammadi shoots, hits Cole, and then it's headed away by Azpilicueta, who had tracked back to the edge of his penalty area. And was able to clear it to William, who wins it, throw-in off George Foy near the halfway line. But just talking about Luiz as we were, Phil Scolari, the Brazilian coach, certainly likes him in centre midfield, doesn't he?
Yes.
Very much part of the Brazilian plan. Ramirez there as well, the two of them together today. Quite a lot of competition for central midfield in the Brazilian team.
I think when he does play centre midfield, it's suiting because he's going forward onto the ball. When he's playing in centre half, he suspects the ball going over his shoulder because he literally has that tunnel vision of going forward into the ball and going to attack it, and that's where he gets caught out at times.
Chelsea very nearly losing possession of the halfway line. In fact, it was taken away by Sagbo there, and Cole came in with a challenge. He nipped the ball away, but then he took Sagbo as well.
I think Bruce waved his arms around him. One or two of his decisions he's felt in the last minute or two has gone against him.
Well, John Terry's now just planted the ball out of play, so that Sagbo can receive some treatment. Well, we're just seeing a replay of that. Cole, it was clearly ahead of the player. And I don't think you can talk about that being a challenge from behind. He sort of come in from the side as well as he went down and in for the challenge, Ashley Cole.
No, it was a brilliant challenge from Ashley Cole. If anything, Sagbo actually followed through a little bit onto Ashley Cole and caught him. Ashley Cole got up. I think it might have been the awkward fall from Sagbo once Ashley Cole made the challenge when he was falling over the top of him.
If you've just joined us, that's Kevin Kilban. And we've got just over 5 minutes to go plus added time with the score Hull City 0, Chelsea 0. Hull having had chances for El-Mohammadi and Livermore, who had shots saved from outside the penalty area, and now the ball is played forward by David Luiz, and then Hazard touch lets him down on the edge of the penalty area, and it bounces away through for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was great movement from Hazard as well. He went in short to try and suck James Chester towards the ball, and peeled out over his shoulder. It was a really good ball from David Luiz to pick him out. He should have got it under control, and it's very unlike Hazard to miscontrol it.
So goal kick to Hull City. So Czech made those 2 saves. Alex Bruce had a header over, which we felt was a good opportunity. And then Sagbo as well, with Hull's best chance that he hit wide from a clear position on the right side of the box. But at the other end, McGregor making an excellent save from Oscar, that being the clearest chance of the game so far. It remains 0-0, however, but Hull have got a free kick here for a handball against John Terry. So position halfway inside the Chelsea half, right of centre, and Chelsea will put up a 3-man wall here. Huddleston is there, El Mohammadi as well. Might be El Mohammadi just to tap it. And some instructions coming, I think, from Steve Agnew, one of Steve Bruce's lieutenants. And so as a result, El Mohammadi just moves away. So it'll be Huddleston, you'd think, just to play it in. It's a 2-man Chelsea wall now. Lots of movement. Huddleston, gets right underneath it. I'm not sure whether he was shooting or what he was trying to do, but glazed it beyond the wall and over the crossbar and behind for a goal kick, and it's utterly wasted. So 0-0 here, back to Hillsborough, Steve May.
Sheffield Wednesday 3, Leeds United 0 now. Connor Wickham 15 yards out, big angle with his left foot to find, but he did find the far corner. It's his 8th of the season, and Leeds down to 10 men and now down 3 goals. Sheffield Wednesday 3, Leeds United 0.
3-0 to Sheffield Wednesday. Well, Steve was saying before the game that a good result could see Stuart Gray given the job on a permanent basis, or as permanent as you get in football, and that might be the kind of result that he needs. So he might be the permanent manager when we see them on Tuesday night. Here is Cole for Chelsea, still 0-0 here in the Premier League. Now back to Oscar. Oscar turns and gives it to Willian, who was also able to turn and face the penalty area, but Hazard is dispossessed by Figueroa, who arrives, clears it to the halfway line, and Chelsea go back into their own half. So again from Chelsea, forward for Torres to chase into the full-back position. Bruce goes across, controls it, and volleys it out of play for a throw into Chelsea down the left. Steve Bruce continues to pace around with his arms behind his back in that very slightly detective Chief Inspector way that he does. Here is Willian up against Huddleston. Willian close control through into the penalty area to Oscar. Back to Willian again. Willian chips it across. Hazard leaping. Got a little touch on it. Davis put in the challenge on him. The ball comes out into the full-back position over here, the full left-back area. Azpilicueta, Hazard. Hazard runs his foot over the ball, runs away from Davis. Myler comes in, just touched the ball away from Hazard. Now Luiz throws himself into a challenge with Livermore, goes down, wins a free kick. Livermore disputes it. Luiz gets up. There's a bit of pushing and shoving there. Luiz and Livermore disputing this. There are 5-6 Hull players, similar number of Chelsea players just milling around, and referee Klappenberg standing with his hands on his hips.
Yeah, Livermore saying that Luiz has actually gone in with his studs high on that initial challenge, but I mean, Mark Klappenberg was right on the spot, give the foul. There was certainly nothing in Hazard with David Myler. I think David Myler just literally come across him, defended it really, really well.
And that was inside the penalty area, that initial challenge by Myler.
I think that was good defending by Myler.
And Luiz came into the challenge there. It was a 50-50 ball. Yeah. But the way that Luiz came in for the challenge, the way that he did was almost suggesting that I'm going to be fouled here through his body language.
I mean, he went down theatrically, didn't he? And then he was trying to say then to Mark Klappenberg that Livermore went in with his studs high. So it's such a difficult one to call, but Klappenberg's give the foul to Chelsea.
We've got just over a minute of the first 45 to go. It is still Hull City 0, Chelsea 0. Free kick, so it'll be 30 yards out, maybe a tiny little bit more. Luiz is going to hit this. David Luiz is yet to score this season for Chelsea. Luiz comes up, strikes it, it's on target, and McGregor backpedaling with the ball wobbling like anything. just watched it and pushed it over the top of the crossbar.
Oh, there's so much movement on it. He struck it so well, David Luiz. He did really well at the end, McGregor, just to get two hands and push it over the crossbar. Very similar position to Huddleston's 5 minutes earlier, wasn't it? Huddleston didn't do the same job, but great strike from Luiz there.
At one point in the trajectory, I thought it was going to bend into the top corner, but ended up in the middle of the goal. Corner. Willian swings it in, headed away by Al Mohammadi at the near post, comes out to Oscar. Oscar steers it back out to the left. Willian's cross, headed away by Myla, just outside the 6-yard box. Now Oscar hoists it out to Luiz. Yeah, the home supporter, I don't think they felt that was a foul. Luiz still going, sends it in, and straight at Myla. Wasted by Luiz and cleared away by Hull City. Well, they felt that Luiz made more of the challenge by Livermore than he might have done. Ball flicked by Hazard. Torres not able to give it back to Hazard, who spun away there to the edge of the area, but Davis one bounce and out of play. 1 minute of added time, and it remains 0-0. Chelsea with a throw. Azpilicueta to Hazard. Willian stretches for it. Willian now pulls it infield towards Luiz, who has a look over his shoulder. Being closed down by Myla. And Hull City there, again, a demonstration of Hull doing their thing. They are tireless, that midfield three. And then John Terry's pass from the centre circle is way beyond and out of play for a throw.
Everything's very narrow, and I think Hull playing with the three centre-halves certainly helps them, because I think when you pack that midfield, it allows you the luxury of having that extra man in midfield to really go and get close to them, and the three centre-halves can see the danger, which Chelsea do have, runners from deep.
So almost half-time. Still Hull City 0, Chelsea 0. Another busy sporting afternoon ahead as the half-time whistle goes. Harlequins against Claremont in the Heineken Cup will be underway very shortly. But half-time here, and all square at 0-0, Kevin.
Yeah, Hull had a great chance with Sagbo, their best chance of the half. I think they played quite well, they defended very, very well, but Oscar having his chance for Chelsea missed certainly the best chance of the game with a wonderful save from Alan McGregor, but very even in that first half really throughout.
Yes, it has been. So let's get back to Mark Chaplin at the Cardiff City Stadium. And it is Hull City 0, Chelsea 0.
Hull against Chelsea. Let's rejoin Kevin and John.
Well, Hull City's players are already out there, and now the Chelsea players begin to filter out from the tunnel onto the field. Don't see any sign of a substitute. No, the same players have started the match. So Mark Klassenberg just handing the ball to Yannick Sagbo for Hull City to get the second period underway. Hull City 0, Chelsea 0. Hull with McGregor in goal. Made a really good save in the first half from Oscar. The three central defenders, Chester, Bruce and Davis. El Mohammadi and Figueroa. The wing backs, Livermore, Huddleston and Myla, and Boyd and Sagbo. That's the Hull City team. As the second half begins with Hull pumping the ball away down the left-hand side, out of play for a Chelsea throw. And Chelsea with Petacek in goal. Azpilicueta, Cahill, Terry and Cole are the back four. David Luiz and Ramirez in centre midfield. Willian, Oscar, Hazard and Torres, the Chelsea side. So Hull City in the amber and black stripes, black shorts and black and amber socks, against Chelsea in their first choice kit, the blue shirts, blue shorts and white socks. And here is David Luiz, who chips the ball down the left-hand side for Hazard, who was looking for a foul there against Chester. Hazard keeps possession though, and then gives it to Willian. And Willian now looks up, curls the ball into the penalty area, headed away by Bruce and then headed further away by Huddleston, but only out to David Luiz. Now back to Hazard again, who's got the ball on the ground, running at Chester. But Chester does well, so back it goes to David Luiz, who swings a shot that might actually have gone out for a throw-in, and not had a little bit of bend on it, that kept it, and it was a goal kick. And the home supporters enjoyed that.
Yeah, he certainly troubled the corner flag, didn't it? It wasn't like he struck in the first half from the free kick, but again, Hull very much on the back foot, allowing Hazard to get onto the ball, and when Hazard does get on it, he's creating things, but of course falling back there to David Luiz, who didn't strike it the way he would like.
So that's Kevin Kilban with us here at the KC Stadium. Hull City 0, Chelsea 0. And it's been an even game so far, Kevin. You know, you feel that Have we seen the best of Chelsea here today?
I don't think we've probably seen the best of either. So I think Hull can actually have it. I mean, Steve Bruce would be happy going to half-time. It's 0-0, reluctant really to change his game plan as much. But you do feel there is a chance if Hull do go and attack, there could be opportunities for them, because they did create 1 or 2 in that first half.
Just been told, by the way, the Charlton-Barnsley game that is being postponed, as we mentioned in the first half, it has been postponed because the pitch has been deemed unplayable due to surface water at the Valley. Chelsea playing it through to Oscar from the right-hand side. Azpilicueta has passed through and glided over the surface of the pitch. It just had a little bit too much pace on it, and it was through for a goal kick.
Now, had to sprinkle at half-time again, didn't they? It's a slick surface. I mean, I'd probably put what I've played here in the past and played it up the ground in the past. You wouldn't really want to water the pitch at half-time because it allows the better teams to come and outplay you. But Hull, confident in their own passing ability, Steve Bruce probably tells the groundsman, look, get the water going because we've got players that can play as well.
Yeah, that was well spotted at half-time. Yeah, I didn't notice that at half-time. I'm surprised you spotted it since you spent the half-time queued up.
Just when I came back up at the end, quick sprinkle, I think, of water.
Right. Ball played over the top for Boyd down the left for Hull City as they play from left to right in this first half. Boyd just holds it up and then Azpilicueta pops it out of play. Just tell the listeners your half-time experience.
Yeah, well, after the toilet, yeah.
You don't need to go
queued up for 10 minutes, waiting to try and get a cup of tea for you and I, John. You wanted a coffee, of course, but got to the front of the queue and found out it was cold water, so I wasn't able to have one.
Yeah. You didn't even bring us a cup of cold water. Ball thrown in for Hull. Huddleston tries to flick it on, but it was blocked down and cleared away by Chelsea. And now here's Torres who plays it forward, but Davis was there to prevent it from reaching Willian. And now Livermore to Boyd, and now Figueroa curls it to no one, just bounces through to defender check, with Sagbo going to his left and the ball going to the right, so check just casually underarms it out. Luiz has ball, David Luiz, long and forward, Torres running out towards the left hand side here, just nods it back to Hazard. Hazard now beats 2 men, beats a third. Hazard shoots as the challenge came in from Huddleston, and deflected wide behind for a corner to Chelsea.
Yeah, brilliant from Hazard. 2 or 3 bodies round him as well. He skipped by Chester and then El Mohammadi, but he did really well there actually. Tom Huddleston coming back across to make that challenge on him just to prevent it, because it was a real opening up for him there.
Corner to Chelsea, still 0-0 on 5 live. Willian is going to take this, just stands behind the goal line, if you like, coming in from that angle to hit it right-footed towards the back post. Well, John Terry has ended up on the ground. Davis was the man who was marking him, and the ball flicked off the head, I presume, off Davis, behind for a goal corner from the other side.
Yeah, they're coming together with Davis and Terry. But he puts a really good ball in, Willian. So much pace, and it's difficult to defend against him. If you do defend against him, you can't really get a strong header on it because of the way that he's putting them into the box. Certainly, it puts the onus on the attacking players to go and get something on it.
Willian now from the right with the corner, but cleared by Bruce, only to Oscar. Oscar, first time touch, back to Willian on the right-hand side. Willian now, 1 touch, then into the area. Header from Ramirez under pressure. Headed it up and over the bar and behind for a goal kick. So it remains Hull City 0, Chelsea 0. And one or two of the Chelsea substitutes are out there. Mikel, Shola. No sign of Matador, is there? He's not out there. So 4 Chelsea substitutes warming up, and Ryan Macker isn't one of them. So 0-0 here in our first commentary of the day from the Barclays Premier League. 3 o'clock we'll bring you Cardiff against West Ham, but all of the goals and action from around the country. And if you've never done it before, I would recommend you give the BBC iPlayer radio a try, either the app or the radio itself via your computer, also the BBC Sport app, and you can get in touch with us during the course of the afternoon via @BBC5Live. But as I say, the BBC iPlayer radio, if you're out and about with your smartphone, tablet, or whatever Android device that you have, give it a try. And don't be like Jeff Boycott in that trail when he says, "What do I do with it? I've never had one of these." Cole throws it forward towards Torres. Cole gets it back and chips it forward towards Willian. Then Bruce arrives, heads it forward. Oscar, lovely flick from Oscar through to Hazard. Now Torres, all at close quarters. Well, that's handballed by Bruce, who was on the ground. And a free kick to Chelsea, clearly.
Yeah, I think he's lucky to get away if he doesn't get a yellow card there, because Bruce is on the floor and Hazard was running by him. And I think it was not so much a run on goal, but Bruce recognised the danger and just scooped the ball away from Hazard.
Well, he did. It was a deliberate handball on the ground. He knew exactly what he was doing. And free kick to Chelsea then. Now at the end of the first half, if you weren't listening, David Luiz had a free kick that then always, and McGregor pushed over the crossbar. This one is left of centre, but it's still going to be Luiz. It's his sort of territory. In actual fact, it might even be a little bit too close for David Luiz.
Let's hope he doesn't trouble the corner flag like his last effort from open play.
Well, Chelsea supporters behind that goal might do well to brace themselves. With Luiz from this sort of position, it can be anything. Luiz with the free kick over the wall. McGregor goes down, pushes it away, and sideways as well. Did well. Chelsea still with it. Hazard is going to allow it to roll out of play. That's 2 free kicks, 2 on target from Luiz, and McGregor has saved them both. Still 0-0 on 5 line. Luiz then displaces the pass back into his own half after Ashley Cole has to chase after it. And Holton, he come out quickly. Boyd is there, closing them down. Ashley Cole just punches it forward, and that bounces through to McGregor, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, no real feel for the pass, but good closing down by George Boyd, putting Ashley Cole under pressure. Great strike from the free kick again from Luiz. Got it up and down. Really going with his instep as well, striking it. Difficult one for McGregor. Did well just to push it to safety.
Good noise from the home supporters now. There'll be round about 24,000 inside the KC Stadium again for this game, I would say, on this lovely winter's afternoon. Sun shining, a touch of coldness in the air still. We sit in the shadows, of course, here. Remains Hull City 0, Chelsea 0. In the Championship, another goal at Hillsborough, Steve Day.
Yes, and it's gone again to Sheffield Wednesday. They lead 10-man lead by 5 goals to 0 though. Callum Lavery, who's just come on a substitute, a run from about 20 yards. We thought we'd give it out to Jermaine Johnson to his right, but just kept going and pushed the ball into the far corner. So Wednesday now leading by 5 goals to 0.
5-0. Great result for Sheffield Wednesday. Terrible result for Leeds. Steve said earlier that Sheffield Wednesday not flattered by that scoreline in the slightest. 10 men having had Smith sent off. 0-0 here in the Premier League, and free kick going against Hull City. Now Livermore is complaining about this, but the free kick's been given 10 yards inside the whole half. Luiz wants to take it square, which he does, to Aspilicueta. Now to the right hand side to Willian, and Willian has to go back into his own half. Hull City working, well, they are working tigerishly, living up to the nickname. Ragnmacher is now warming up with the other substitutes for Chelsea. Chelsea losing. Boyd plays it forward towards Sagbo, but Terry was in there first. And Chelsea now cross the halfway line. Terry though goes back into his own half to Ramirez. Now it comes to Cole. You can see here look how tight it is through the middle. No player in a wide position just during that little period of play. And then it's fast forward by Luiz going for another one of those passes, but overhits it through for a goal kick.
It is Hull delighted the way that it is. I mentioned in the first half with the 3 central defenders. When the runners come on, they're all coming from central areas, very rarely coming from wide areas. So if Hazard is getting out wide and isolated, Al Mohammadi can get back and support James Chester, who invariably comes out into the right back position. So it's certainly suiting Hull City right now the way it's going.
So it remains Hull City 0, Chelsea 0. Terry tried to clear, but sliced it, but Cahill was there to help out his partner. And then Livermore stabs it forward, but Cahill clears. William now off on a little run, just lays it through to Oscar. Hazard's on the left-hand side, he receives possession. Chester is out there with him. El Mohammadi comes across as well, so Hazard goes back to Cole. And now Oscar. But every time a Chelsea player gets it, a Hull City man is just a few yards away. Hazard does well here, finds space, shoots, Foden Turner! Oh, that is brilliant from Eden Hazard, who made space for himself into the D, then a searing right foot shot into the bottom corner to give Chelsea the lead. It's Hull City 0, Chelsea 1.
Well, they've really done that through this, certainly for the first half, the first 55, 60 minutes of this game. When they've got into the final third, it's been very lethargic from Chelsea. That time, Ashley Cole got forward. Once he's fallen to Hazard, he's come inside, initially checked for the shot, sold the dummy, and then what a finish. We've seen him do that so often this season. I've seen him at Sunderland do that this season earlier on, coming in onto his right foot, and it's so difficult to stop. Brilliant finish. McGregor no chance.
Lovely little dummy as well. When he initially got into a shooting position, and the defender Alex Bruce slid in thinking he would shoot, but he didn't. He delayed it, and then when more space had opened up, it's such close quarters, right? When there's so little time. I mean, that is sharp and bright football, isn't it, from Hazard?
He's a wonderful player. I think we all know that. And Mourinho's been quick to say that this week, because I think there was actually talk of him moving on at some stage as well, surprisingly enough. But we know what a talented player he is. This season he's proved it throughout. Certainly, I think at the middle of October, end of October, he's been outstanding for Chelsea.
And really, that was a very good goal from Chelsea, because they really had to work for it against Hull City. As I mentioned, I think in the build-up, we're so tight to them that great possession play, passing, and then it was the injection of pace they put into the attack. First of all, from Ashley Cole, who got forward, and in just 1 and 2 touch passing, and once Hazard then is coming inside on his right foot, he sensed danger straight away. That dummy to sell Alex Bruce, and Alex Bruce is diving in at his feet, was so good, because you think it happened instinctively. It was a great finish from him. Hull City now trying to come from behind in this game. Al Mohammadi crossing, but cleared away by Chelsea. And then Al Mohammadi and Chester tried to lose it. I think Chester just handed off Hazard, who recoiled away as if to suggest he got a push in the face. But no free kick. And nothing results from it, although Hazard is still sort of complaining about it in the way that he is holding his face. Torres then doesn't find the pass to Willian, but Willian is in. Davis slides in. Then Torres and Livermore in a challenge together. Chelsea still with it. Ramirez trying to get round the outside of Huddleston, who just pulled back Ramirez right on the edge of the box. Ramirez fell into the penalty area from the full-back position. The referee Clattenburg gave it where the challenge initially took place, which was outside the box, so it's a free kick.
Yeah, it's a good decision from Mark Clattenburg. Ramirez had got the wrong side of Tom Huddleston. Once he was backtracking, trying to get his run, he did have his hand on his right shoulder, pulled him back, clear free kick, but if it had been a yard further on, he'd have got the penalty.
Free kick. So it's effectively a short corner, with Chelsea leading by 1-0. That 57th minute goal from Eden Hazard is 11th of the season for Chelsea. Free kick. Now it's an absolutely packed 6-yard box. Willian drives it, trying to curl it into the far top corner, but beyond the far post and through for a goal kick.
I can see what he was trying. He was just trying to go with pace, trying to whip it across that 6-yard box and hope that one of the Chelsea players could get across to get on the end of it, or if not, one of the Hull City players to score an on goal, but he just got the wrong trajectory on it.
Langmatter just troughing out of our sight into the dugout. I think there's been well, the three of them actually today. Willian, Oscar and Hazard, and Hazard has obviously scored the goal. In the week that he turned 23, his 23rd birthday on Tuesday, Eden Hazard, so a football career stretching out in front of him, and I'm sure that anyone who's got any talent and wants to be a footballer would be envious of the position that he's in.
Yeah, that's very true. I think Hazard has been consistent for long periods of the season, and Oscar himself has been the same. I think Willian just took a little bit of time to adjust, but in the last 3 or 4 weeks especially, going into the Christmas period, Willian's come into his own. I think he's looking now the player that we've seen so much of him at Shakhtar.
I think the point that Mourinho was making about Hazard this week was, you remember the fee that was reported for Hazard was £32 million that Chelsea paid for him. I think Mourinho was saying, well, if anyone was going to buy him now, then you'd have to sort of double it, or more than. And he is certainly a talent, and he was excellent in the second half of last season as well. But 1-0 Chelsea lead on 5 Live, and as it stands, Chelsea are going to the top of the Premier League tonight. There's been a try in the Harlequins Claremont game in the Heineken Cup. Ian Robertson.
Brilliant try. Danny Keir took the ball. He was being tackled and flicked an inside pass as he crossed the touchline. Matt Hopper collected, sprinted 30 metres to score. Nick Evans converted it. It's 7-3 the Harlequins. And also, I should tell you, Leicester are surprisingly trailing 10-5 to Treviso.
Thank you, Ian. Yeah, we heard from Conor O'Shea early in the programme today on 5 Live about the importance of Harlequins winning that game against the group leaders, Claremont.
The quarter-final lineup in the Heineken Cup is going to be decided over this weekend and next weekend. We've got 3 commentaries today from the Heineken Cup on 5 Live Sports Extra. You can hear that one now over on Sports Extra with Chris Jones and Tom May. Then at 3:40, Toulon against Cardiff. And at 6 o'clock, Gloucester against Munster. That's all on 5 Live Sports Extra. But it's 1-0 to Chelsea here with Willian in possession and shooting from 25 yards but dragging it well wide of Alan McGregor's right post for a goal kick.
All of a sudden, though, John, there's so much more incisive in the final third, aren't they? That 1-2 pitch passing that wasn't quite there, or certainly wasn't that sharp through the first half. Hazard now's come to life. Williams getting heavily involved as well as Oscar. Those 3 are the key players for Chelsea from an attacking point of view.
It's making me, I don't know where you were on New Year's Day, but it's making me think of the game that Chelsea had at Southampton when I was listening on the long drive back from Swansea that day. You know, it was a really competitive game that, and then Chelsea got themselves in front and then went on to win quite handsomely really in the end. As Torres is fouled, just a heavy challenge from Curtis Davis. They've had quite a tussle today. Free kick to Chelsea. Not quite halfway inside the whole half, over on the right hand side. And Oscar has gone across there to take this. So David Luiz this time trots up to the edge of the area. Oscar plays the set piece in beyond everyone inside the box. John Terry peeled away and is actually going to get there first near the corner flag. And he's there with Cahill, the 2 Chelsea central defenders. 1-2 at the Hull City defensive third, and then it all breaks down. And John Terry holding his head. And they can talk about that, Terry and Cahill, as they run back towards the halfway line.
Oh, it was a great play, wasn't it, in the corner from the 2 of them? I think it was actually a corner. When Hazard made the pass, I think it deflected off James Chester and went for a corner. But Mark Classen there. But great play by the 2 centre-halves.
And of course, we're now in a position with Chelsea having got themselves ahead in this game. You know, the excellent defensive record that they've had recently. You know, we're going to see here the classic Mourinho. Once you're ahead, you don't let it slip.
I think that is something that he's worked upon. He's tried to stress that to his players about, you know, if you do go in front, let's stick on it. Let's just try not to be too expansive, try to be too open, and we'll go and win the game 1-0 if necessary. And if we do get a second goal, brilliant. That is certainly evident in the way that Chelsea have been playing recently.
Mourinho might be thinking it could be time to dispense with Luiz from this game and bring on Mikel to play alongside Ramirez. Mikel, who not in the starting lineup today because he was away in Nigeria this week because it was the African Player of the Year awards this week, which we know anyone who's heard the African players talk about this award, you know, it means a great deal to them. So he's had a lot of travelling this week, but he is on the bench and has been one of those warming up. It's Hull City 0, Chelsea 1, and 25 minutes to play. And Hull City playing it out to Figueroa, they headed it down the groans from the home supporters. And eventually Azpilicueta clears high and long towards Torres. Now Huddleston to Figueroa on the left. Figueroa's pass forward. Cahill comes across and has his shoulder to deflect that behind. And it's a yellow card for deliberate handball. His upper arm or shoulder. Well, Cahill is now pointing to referee Clattenburg, suggesting that it hit the top of his arm. Haven't you seen the replay?
It looked like right at the very top of his shoulder. I think that's what he's trying to say himself. And I'm not exactly sure if that is handball because it was on the top where he tried to clear it. So
still pointing to the top of his shoulder.
He's giving me a yellow card there. I think
he's still pointing to the top of his shoulder, to Luiz, to anyone who'll listen. But it's a yellow card for Cahill for deliberate handball, and a free kick to Hull City in the full-back position near the left corner of the box. And Huddleston is going to take this. Chelsea are constructing a 3-man wall. Once we see what happens here, we'll start bringing you the team news from the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League. But Huddleston to take this. Here it is, goes for goal, and it flashes across the face of goal and beyond the far post and behind for a goal kick. So it remains Hull City 0, Chelsea 1, and the first team news from the 3 o'clock kickoffs comes from White Hart Lane and Jonathan Overend.
Spurs unchanged from their defeat at Arsenal in the Cup. That means Soldado and Adebayor play up front together again. Palace make 5 changes from their Cup team, but one at West Brom, of course, but just the one from their last league outing. Their side bearing more resemblance to the team that played at the 1-1 draw with Norwich, but Park coming in for the catch. Thanks, Jonathan. Corran coming on from Myla here at the KC Stadium with Chelsea winning 1-0. Next, we go to Craven Cottage for the team news from John Southall.
And one change for Fulham from the last league game. Clint Dempsey makes his first Premier League start since his return in place of Kieran Richardson. So we have Dempsey throughout, the Berbatov starting. Two changes for Sunderland from the cup win over Manchester United. Colback replaces Larson and Adam Johnson is in for Giacorini.
Back to the Championship, another goal at Hillsborough. Got another one for Sheffield Wednesday, Steve.
Absolutely, it's still going on. The Leeds misery completely. It's now Wednesday 6, Leeds nil. Second goal for Lavery. Johnson and Newyer in the first half. Wickham, Maguire and Lavery 2 in the second. And with 4 wins and 2 draws from Stuart Graves, 8 games in charge, Milan Mandaric might just be thinking of giving him a more secure tenancy. It's just finished here. Wednesday 6, Leeds nil.
6-0. Leeds, who played more than half of that game with 10 men, but even so 6-0. And we'll hear more on that, I'm sure, on 5 Live from Steve at Hillsborough during the course of the afternoon. So 1-0 to Chelsea here, midway through the second half. More 3 o'clock team news to come, but Chelsea leading through Eden Hazard's goal. Hazard, who's now scored 3 in his last 5 appearances for Chelsea, as Luiz blasts the ball across the penalty area from the left-hand side. No one had an earthly of getting a touch to that. And now Figueroa plays it long and forward, but that's beyond everyone. And will bounce through to Petr Cech. Kevin Kilban.
Yeah, Luiz, he's having a go at Torres. He certainly put it into a decent area, but you're right, it was so much pace in the ball. I don't know how Torres could have read that cross when he was going into the box.
So Cech still with the ball. 1-0 to Chelsea. To say Cardiff against West Ham, our 3 o'clock commentary. Manchester United Swansea, the 5:30 kick-off. We'll keep you fully abreast of that in Sports Report during 6:06 with Darren Fletcher and Robbie Savage today, so you can call during the course of the Manchester United game if you wish and speak to them here on 5 Live. Livermore has just caught Torres in the centre circle, and that's a yellow card for Livermore.
Yeah, he did catch him once, Torres. Good touch initially when the ball's played in from Terry. Got across Livermore. Livermore stood on his heel.
Oh, he has taken his boot off, actually. He's caught his the heel of Torres' boot and actually taken it off as Torres sprang forward. So a free kick to Chelsea in the centre circle. By the way, just on Manchester United, I know that Gary Richardson is planning a lengthy chunk talking about where Manchester United are. In the morning, it's Sports Week, between 9 and 10 after weekend breakfast. Among his guests in the morning, Carlos Queiroz, Sir Alex's former assistant, the Iran coach now. Alex McLeish is also going to be among the guests, and also a Manchester United supporter who has had a season ticket for United since 1944. Chelsea take the free kick. Willian with a touch. Ramirez now to Torres. Torres plays it across looking for Oscar. Just flick headed away. It comes to Hazard. Hazard tries it across. It's blocked by Chester. Still Chelsea in possession. Hazard again, just drifting infield. Bull watching him carefully, gives it to Willian. It'll scurry from him into the box, but Bruce is able to get a touch, and it's cleared away by Huddleston. 1-0 Chelsea lead. Corran into the game for the first time since coming on as the substitute for David Myler. The veteran as he is now, Corran. Forward it goes, but Gary Cahill was there to head it away. An overhead kick by Oscar. I'm not sure he necessarily needed to do that in that position. Figueroa then, as a result, has it back for Hull City. Figueroa into the centre circle. Now Alex Bruce. Bruce dinks it forward towards the edge of the penalty area, stretched to head it away by Cahill, with Corran arriving behind him. Boyd then lifts the ball to the back post, but just invites Petr Cech to catch it, and he accepts that invitation. Harlequins were narrowly head against Claremont last week. Heard from Ian Robertson. What's the news from the stoop now, Ian?
Nick Evans has just kicked 2 penalties in the space of 2 minutes, and it's now 13-3. Harlequins lead against Claremont. And in the match in Pool 5, Leicester, if they don't win today, Ulster win that group, are trailing 13-5 to Treviso in Treviso.
Thanks, Ian. Chelsea on the move again, winning 1-0. And Hazard, Willian, but William's pass gives it away. We're going to go to the Cardiff City Stadium for the team news in a moment. We're interested to hear if Andy Carroll is involved with Hull City, with Livermore playing it away, giving it away. Willian, now Louise, lifts the ball over the top of Astion. Hazard and bounces out the play for throw-in to Hull City. So let's get the team news ahead of our 3 o'clock commentary match. Cardiff against West Ham.
Ian Dennis, as expected. Andy Carroll is on the bench for West Ham. Sam Allardyce has made 5 changes. Carlton called for Maiga, Collison for Diarmi, Tompkins is back from injury for McCartney, Jarvis for Joe Cole, and Rapp for O'Brien. And Cardiff City likewise make 5 changes from their FA Cup tie last weekend. Fairfield Catherine for McNaughton, Noon for Cowie, Liddell for Gunnison, Colker for Turner, Campbell for Cornelius, and Craig Bellamy is on the bench. Thank you, Ian. And Steve Claridge will be alongside Ian Dennis for the commentary on Cardiff City against West Ham. Chelsea, as it stands here, are going to the top of the Premier League, with Manchester City not playing until tomorrow. Arsenal playing at Aston Villa on Monday night. That is a 5 Live commentary match, incidentally, from Villa Park. 5 Live Sport will come from the ground on Monday night. It means that Chelsea would be top for 24 hours at least. Here is Willian. Willian now away from Huddleston. Still Willian. Oscar makes a diagonal run out towards the right-hand side. 2 Chelsea players in the box. Oscar with it near the corner of the area. Plays it into Willian. Back heel from Willian. Oscar just loses it to Davis on the edge of the area. And we can get the team news ahead of the Southampton West Brom game, with Pepe Mel watching from the stands, West Brom's new manager, and John Hunt is at St Mary's.
Beautiful day here, John. Southampton make 2 changes from the side that lost heavily to Chelsea on New Year's Day. Ricky Lambert in, chases his 100th league goal for Southampton, and goalkeeper Artur Boric returns as well. For West Bromwich Albion, Morrison, Long and Reed replace Jacob, Sessignon and the injured Jones, and Elka starts, Berahino on the bench.
Boyd crossing for Hull from the left-hand side. Ashley Cole backpedaling, just got his forehead to it to take it away from El Mohammadi. And then Chelsea sweep away downfield with Oscar. Oscar now has options. Ramirez, Torres. He uses Willian to his right. Willian just outside the area. Goes past Boyd. Willian puts it across. Oscar shot deflected up and over the top of the crossbar by Curtis Davis. Corner could easily have been 2-0.
Oh, it's a brilliant counter-attack though from Chelsea. Initially with Hazard playing out from the back. Once he's found Oscar, brilliant ball played out to Willian. He skipped by, I think it was Figueroa, wasn't it, before it's pulled back to Oscar. Good strike by Oscar, but brilliant challenge by Davis.
Yes, it was. Just flung himself in front of it and deflected it up and over the bar. And now a corner to Chelsea as a result. Willian to take this. Cahill on the edge of the area this time. Terry near the edge of the 6-yard box. Here it comes. Terry was just being to it by Torres, who just glance-headed it out into the full-back position. Now here's Hazard in business again. Beats Huddleston, chips it across, headed away by Bruce. Overhead kick, or
there's real pace though, John, isn't there, the Chelsea attacks now. When they go on the counter-attack, once he finds Hazard, there's 3 and 4 Hull players that's attracted to him, and it's freeing space up elsewhere for the other players to get involved as well.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely fascinating next month when Chelsea go to the Etihad Stadium to see how they deal with Manchester City at home, how Mourinho deals with it, how the players deal with it. And it's a Monday night game, which means it must be a 5 Live commentary match. It is on a Monday night, so you'll be able to hear it here. But
I think you probably can read, judging by what Mourinho's done away from home, what he will do. Yeah,
you know, Old Trafford.
Try to really contain them, shut up shop. And, I mean, Lampard hit the bar at the Emirates, didn't he? They had the real big chance of the game, so I think he's thinking maybe nick a goal on the counter-attack or from a set play or something like that. That is, I think, what Mourinho will try to do in that game.
I think you might be right. Play for a draw, and if they happen to win, then all well and good. Here is Chester. Still only 1-0 this game though, remember. And here is Livermore now just stretching a little into Ramirez, who was quite robust, Ramirez, isn't he? Wiry and strong, just rode the challenge. Hazard tried to send it through towards Torres, but Davis read it. Curtis Davis, the Hull City captain, and stepped forward and intercepted it. He's not had a sniff, has he, a goal, Torres, today?
I think Torres started well, didn't he, John? He started really well. I think he was on the front foot looking to go, but certainly after that initial 5 or 10 minutes, he's been very quiet in the match.
He's not had a sight of goal. And you know, it's no surprise when you see here why Chelsea strikers have scored so few goals this season.
I think that was one of the things with David Luiz, that ball we mentioned before about he put into the box. It's real pace, difficult for Torres to read, but his anticipation, he wasn't looking to go in behind Hull's defence.
Here's El Mohammadi on the right, swings the ball in towards the back post. Really well dealt with by Gary Cahill, just stepping back. Corrin was behind him, just very calmly and unfussily headed it down. And now Louise sends a long pass forward. It's way beyond Torres. He's got no chance of that. And it's out for a throw-in. And Hull City going to make another change here. And Steve Bruce bringing on Matty Fryatt, who was doubtful for this game with a hamstring injury, but well, he's going to bring him on for James Chester, so it's a little bit of a rejig, bringing on a front man for a defender. And with the score 1-0, Steve Bruce trying to get something out of the game.
Yeah, Matty Fryatt went out to Sheffield Wednesday, got his confidence back, scored a few goals while on loan there, so he's come back in, he scored goals since coming back to Hull, so excellent play, Matty Fryatt, really good technical footballer.
Went to the Everton-Norwich team news yet, and Conor McNamara has it. And from the last league games, there are 2 changes for Everton. Jagielka and Morales come back into the team. For Alcaraz and Ross Barkley, who drops out, John Stones will start again. There are 3 changes for Norwich from their last league game. Turner, Redmond and Houlihan, replaced by Van Wolfswinkel, Garrido and Bennett. Thank you, Conor. So coverage of all of those 3 o'clock games up and down the country during the course of the afternoon. 24,924 is the official crowd figure, which is one of the biggest, not the biggest, but one of the biggest here at the KC Stadium in their first season back in the top flight. Sure enough, Mikel is going to come on very shortly, you would think, for Louise. The only surprise is that it hasn't happened a little earlier, but maybe the fact that Mikel has had this long journey during the course of the week explains why we now only have 12 minutes left and he's preparing to come on. Hull City 0, Chelsea 1 on BBC 5 Live, where we will bring you Cardiff against West Ham with Ian Dennis and Steve Claridge. Then Sports Report from 5 o'clock. We'll keep you right across Manchester United against Swansea, which is the 5:30 kick-off. And then 6:06 to talk about it all with Darren Fletcher and Robbie Savage, who I heard on the Today programme on Radio 4 this morning. Robbie Savage, really? Who'd have thought it? The programme that all of the movers and shakers listening to. And now Robbie Savage has managed to get himself onto the Today programme. So, who'd have thought? Who would have thought? Even the Today programme, what they were talking about was discussing Manchester United and where they are. Right, it's Oscar who makes way and Mikel who comes on. Chelsea have got to defend this free kick. It's still only 1-0 to Chelsea, so Hull are still right in this game. Boyd takes a shot. Al Mohammadi swings it in. It's headed partly away by Cahill, then further away, just lashed away by the right foot of David Luiz. So let's get another update from Ian Robertson at the stoop. Half-time, 13-3, Harlequins lead against Clermont-Auvergne, and in Pool 5 it's half-time there, and Leicester trail Treviso 13 points to 8. I'm seeing the commentary on the Harlequins-Clermont game continues. Once the second half gets underway on 5 Live Sports Extra. 1-0 to Chelsea. Here's Sagbo shooting from distance. It's Terry on the edge of the area. 1 or 2 shouts for handball. It's rebounded to Al Mohammadi. Al Mohammadi against Ashley Cole. Ball running away towards the corner flag, and Al Mohammadi back heels it, tried to play it off Cole, but it missed him, and it's a goal kick.
I was putting Ashley Cole again. He's still one of the best one-on-ones, certainly in the Premier League. It's not world football. If they're not left-back position, he just saw El Mohammadi into the corner. El Mohammadi tried to play it off him, but he just stood up firm, let the ball bounce past him, nice and calm, and saw the danger.
Just another little thought again. I know it's been mentioned before this season, but in World Cup year, when we're less than 6 months away from the World Cup, I know that Cahill and Jagielka is very much the Roy Hodgson central defensive pairing. But when you see Terry and Cahill look so assured together, you know, you do think, I mean, that's just everything else, all of the baggage, and you know how much baggage there is. But Terry and Cahill, John Terry, if he were available, then England would have a stronger squad.
Exactly, and you've got the best players available. You're saying that World Cup year, it's a big time for England, and John Terry's proved this year again what a top defender he is. If you had him fit, had him on the plane over there to Brazil, you certainly have a much stronger defensive line with him in and around it as well.
Kevin Kilbane, who played at the World Cup for the Republic of Ireland. We're watching Chelsea winning 1-0 here, and less than 10 minutes to go. And Azpilicueta's just been caught there on the far side, and Mark Clattenburg pulls out the yellow card and shows it now to Figueroa. Azpilicueta has stayed down, which maybe because he's hurt. It might have something to do with the fact that Chelsea are 1-0 up. But he did catch him quite badly from behind, and that was a clear yellow card offence.
Yeah, very late. I think it was a Hazard, wasn't it, I think, actually. Caught him very late. I think the ball was played into him. And Hazard's took 1 or 2 today, hasn't he? You know, I said before, when he played over on the left-hand side for Chelsea, he's always had 2 and 3 players around him, and perhaps he's attracting other players away from their natural position from the Hull's point of view.
Yeah, but he's okay. Hazard, which is the good news for Chelsea. Hazard, who's scored the only goal that we've seen so far today. Throw into Chelsea up the right.
It's a brilliant goal, John, wasn't it? Outstanding finish from him.
Watching on Match of the Day tonight. Throw-in taken for Chelsea. Torres back to Hazard. Hazard to Azpilicueta. This is all on the right-hand side, and the Hull City defensive third. Torres, Azpilicueta and Hazard involved again. And then Azpilicueta runs it over the dead ball line for a goal kick to Hull City. Match of the Day is 10:30 tonight, or 7:35 in the morning on BBC One. The Football League show follows it when you'll be able to watch the highlights of Sheffield Wednesday 6, Leeds 0 in the early kick-off in the Championship. Right, Hull making another change. Boyd, who makes way. Stephen Quinn is going to come on, having only just come back from a couple of months out, playing in the FA Cup win against Middlesbrough. You remember, he was the player of the year for Hull City last season, and he takes over from George Boyd. So Hull City, after the changes that Steve Bruce has made, should say as well, Kevin, that Hull have rejigged things rather.
Yeah, I think, it certainly gives them much more of an attacking threat with Rob Corran coming on early on in this game. But in fairness to Chelsea, they've dealt with anything that Hull have thrown at them since they scored Chelsea very well. And Chelsea in the driving seat, they've controlled the game since the goal, and they've passed the ball really well, and it's been difficult for Hull to get near them.
In actual fact, Hull had the better of the chances in the first half, but I've not written down a single chance for Hull City in the second half. So, had a check, other than take crosses.
I think Peter Cech looks very good. You mentioned about this record, this clean sheet record that he's looking to get today, but he's been outstanding. Just his handling's been good. He's dealt with anything that's come in his vicinity as well.
Again, Chelsea dealing with Hull City. It comes to nothing. Then William gets his legs taken away from him by Livermore, who has already been booked. So just like Lanchas look towards referee Clattenburg for the free kick only. It is. Yeah, it's Petr keeps a clean sheet today. Chelsea take the free kick to Torres, who takes it down beautifully. Torres plays it across. It's cleared away by Figueroa. Well, both Hazard and Ramirez were waiting in the middle, but Torres just wasn't able to find them. So Hull City break away downfield. Corran, now to Fry it. The two substitutes together. The three substitutes together. Quinn is there as well, but Corran overruns it, and Chelsea, through Azpilicueta, are able to clear it up towards Torres. Torres holds it up, gives it to Hazard, and Hazard now moving forward with it, gives it to Ramirez just outside the D, back to Torres inside the box. Torres runs it to Figueroa. An ironic cheers from the Hull City supporters because Torres gives it away to Quinn. Into the last 5 minutes, Chelsea winning 1-0. This is BBC 5 Live, the Barclays Premier League, and Chelsea poised here to go to the top of the table. And that's a heavy one from Figueroa on Hazard, and Figueroa, having been yellow carded, probably less than 5 minutes ago, has again fouled Hazard, and Mark Clattenburg just indicates with his hands there to Figueroa to just steady down.
It's very, very lucky there, John.
Second yellow card.
Coming to the back of Hazard again, very similar to the other challenge as well. It was probably 5 minutes ago, the one that he was booked for on Hazard. Very, very lucky not to get a second yellow card.
But Schürrle is being prepared by Chelsea to come onto the field. But as they say, by the letter of the law, that was a second yellow card.
I totally agree, John.
Corran loses it in centre field. So Chelsea again come forward. Willian to Torres. Torres now head down, running at Bruce. Torres goes past Bruce, shoots into the net. The play got beaten at his near post, but Torres there, terrific. Used his pace to beat Bruce. A left foot shot flew into the back of the net. Chelsea have this one here now at the KC Stadium, and they're going to the top of the league.
Yeah, that's the Fernando Torres of old, isn't it? Once you get your defender isolated one-on-one, backing off into the box, he didn't disappoint Torres. He skipped by Bruce onto his left side, finished it really well on Alan McGregor's near post, but that is what we love to see from Fernando Torres, and we probably haven't seen it enough, but it was a great finish from him.
Scored in the last away league game at Southampton. Now he scores at Hull City. And that is his first chance. That's his first goal scoring chance of the game. And he's taken it very well.
It's a brilliant finish though, John. We haven't seen that enough from him when he's had that chance or the opportunity over the last few years since he signed here at Chelsea. But when he gets one-on-one, there has been fewer better sides in the Premier League than him. Going at the defenders, one-on-one, skipping by them and creating a chance for himself. It was a brilliant goal.
Hull City 0, Chelsea 2. So you could argue that Alex Bruce was beaten quite easily there as he backpedalled. Torres just motored past him.
I think he knew he had the pace over him, John, as well. He recognised probably who he was when he got his head up, recognised he had more pace than Alex Bruce, and he could beat him on the outside.
And of course Hull City pushing for an equaliser, not playing with the three central defenders anymore, so there wasn't the protection there for Bruce. And it did rather open up as well for Torres when he went through. McGregor beaten on his right post, his near post, if you like. But it was there for Torres, the space was there, and he planted the shot into the back of the net. So 2-0 Chelsea lead. Hazard and Torres, second half goals. Schürrle has come onto the field. Essien will also be brought on as a substitute very shortly. To Willian, who's come off. It is, isn't it? Schürrle is on to replace Willian. Easy to spot when he's not on the field anymore. And then Luiz just throws himself back towards the edge of his penalty area to volley the ball out of play for a throw on the left hand side that Figueroa takes. Quinn, now Corrin, and the ball with Friat on the left hand side, but it's just overrun and through for a goal kick to Chelsea. Well, they've done very well. It's been a controlled performance from Chelsea, very professional, very Mourinho.
Yeah, very much so, John. I think they've been brilliant in the second half. I think the goal did help them. It was a brilliant goal from Hazard to set them on the way. And since that goal, they just literally controlled the game in possession. Hull couldn't get near them, and you say it's typical of Mourinho. That's what he wants from his teams. If you can go and get a second, brilliant, but certainly contain the opposition once you go a goal in front. They've got the second, and certainly looks game over now.
Yes, it does. Hull City 0, Chelsea 2 to score. And Ramirez has just given an overcoat as he makes way for Michael Essien to come onto the field to replace him. So Mourinho has made his 3 substitutions now. Chelsea will go to 46 points, so they'll go a point clear of Arsenal at the top of the table. Arsenal, who will be involved on Monday night in our 5 Live commentary match at Villa Park against Aston Villa. Remember the first game of the season when Arsenal were beaten by Aston Villa at the Emirates, and we thought that things were going to be very different to the way that they turned out for those 2 clubs this season. Here's Figueroa crossing from the left-hand side. It's headed away. Comes again to Sagbo inside the penalty area, but Terry's able to come across and play it out towards Figueroa. Figueroa now chips it towards the back post. Ashley Cole is there to head it up. 3 minutes of added time. We're into that now. Figueroa allows the ball to bounce out of play for a throw next to the corner flag. Takes it quickly to Quinn, who gets a touch. Hoists it across towards the edge of the area. Headed there by the fair-haired Schürrle and Torres. Fernando Torres, having just scored his 8th goal for Chelsea this season, plays it infield and then downfield for Schürrle, who is beaten to it by El Mohammadi. So into added time. We'll be heading straight from here back to Mark Chapman at the Cardiff City Stadium, who will bring you all the build-up to the 3 o'clock kick-offs, and then commentary on the Cardiff West Ham game. So all of the news, all of the goals as they're going around the country. Do listen to us if you're on the move via BBC iPlayer Radio or via the BBC Sport app. And Hull City going all the way back to Alex Bruce, who's then given it away to Schürrle, but it bounced off him, and El Mohammadi was able to take possession again. So Huddleston now turns, as it goes towards the left-hand side to Figueroa, but doesn't scores. of Hull City supporters now beginning to head to the exit here. It's been a competitive game, but in the end, over the 90 minutes, Hull City have been beaten by the better team. Al-Mohammadi plays it in, comes up ahead of Cahill, bounces down, Louise, an aerial challenge with Quinn. Louise wins it, and Azpilicueta will play it towards Hazard on the halfway line. Hazard, are we looking any further than Hazard for the man of the match? Kevin, do you think?
He's been instrumental. Everything that Chelsea have done going forward, he's been the big threat, hasn't he? And every time I see Hazard, he just seems to me like he gets better and better. He's growing more and more into the English game as well. I think he's an outstanding footballer.
Yep, excellent young player. Scored the first goal. Torres with the second, 2-0. Hull coming through the middle again. It is Friar. He just turns away from Mikel and Louise. Now Quinn, Figueroa. Back to Huddleston. Might shoot from distance. He does so, Huddleston, but it flies away wide and high for a goal kick. Well, we're in the last minute of added time now. 2-0 for Chelsea. Let me just point out to you as well, over the course of the next couple of weeks, on both 5 Live and Sports Extra, we'll bring you stacks of coverage from the Australian Open tennis. And then tonight, the one-day cricket series gets underway between Australia and England. And you'll get ball-by-ball commentary on the first one day from Melbourne. It's all happening in Melbourne over the course of the next 24 hours. That is on 5 Live Sports Extra, and it begins at 3 o'clock tomorrow morning, so they'll still be playing mid-morning. But it is all over here at the KC Stadium. Really good performance from Chelsea, good win for them, and they're top of the league. Jose Mourinho takes Chelsea back to the top of the league for the first time since September. Hazard and Torres with the second half goals. They've won 2-0, and these are the views of Kevin Kilbane.
Yeah, Chelsea excellent defensively. Hull didn't really cause too many problems for the Chelsea defence, but anything that was coming their way, they stood up well. Typical of Mourinho. But the 2 goals he scored with a real quality. Hazard's first strike was excellent, and then Torres, probably the Torres of all. We haven't seen enough of him doing that one-on-one with the defender, down the outside, a great finish. So I think overall Chelsea did deserve to win this game, yeah.
Yeah, restricted Hull City, not a single chance of note in the second half, so that's a Chelsea club record, clean sheet for Beneček as the club's goalkeeper. His 209th clean sheet in all competitions. He is just being congratulated by his teammates out on the pitch as he hands the ball back to Mark Clattenburg, the referee. So Chelsea, top of the league for 24 hours at least. Final score here in the sunshine at the KC Stadium. Hull City 0, Chelsea 2.